Yo, what is up guys? It feels like forever since I've last done a shoe review. That is partly due to the fact that I was supposed to be doing one on the Puma Glide Lights. However, stupid German company sent me the wrong size. They were way too small. I couldn't even get my feet in them. But fortunately, after doing some shows with Adidas last week, they were very kind enough to let me keep these beauties. So these are the shoes that I've been using recently and I'm going to be reviewing today, and they are the Adidas X 15.1 indoor version, of course. Just realised actually they didn't give me a box of these. Brilliant. But anyway, let's firstly talk about the design. So when Adidas first introduced their new range, the Adidas X and the Adidas Ace, which I believe are to replace the very popular F15 Predators, I think a lot of people, having seen these crazy designs, were a bit like, oh my God.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It is a pretty radical, crazy looking shoe, very flamboyant, but I'm actually a really big fan of it. I like so many things about it, all the way down to the detail of like the pattern on the shoe, the laces. It's got your typical design with the tongue underneath the laces and everything, which I think is just the best way for a shoe to fit around the foot out of the ones that I've tried. Those other ones which try to implement one whole material around the outside of the shoe fitting around your ankle, I did not like at all on the Nike Elastico Finale 3s, it has to be said. The shoe also has some nice features to it, such as the breathable mesh material on the inside and outside of the shoe. That aims to make the shoe a lot more breathable and comfortable. Also, these shoes on the front feature what Adidas like to call the Adidas X skin, and it's super grippy. It was the first thing I noticed about it. If I was to dislike anything about the design of the shoe, it would be here at the back of the shoe. I don't really like the heel counter. Really big. I would almost argue unnecessarily big, and it felt weird going back to a shoe that had such a big, thick heel counter, as the Archive Lights, as we know, have no heel counter at all. I think they've probably just made it this big so that they could fit the Adidas logo on in its entirety, but I think it's a bit unnecessary really, and you do feel it after a while. But they have accommodated for this by putting on the inside of the heel counter some nice comfortable padding, so yeah, that's good. How heavy are these? Well, they weighed in at 262 grams, and to give you an indication of how heavy that actually is, it is round about the same region as the Nike Elastico Finales, both the 2 and the 3s. Obviously, it isn't as light as some of the Puma ones, the Glide Lights and the Archive Lights. They are still much lighter, but these are still much lighter than Puma Brazils and the Puma Suedes. But obviously, after doing these shoe reviews and testing lots of different shoes, it's made me realise that lightweightness, if that's a word, isn't the be all and end all. It's great if a shoe is lightweight, but I think other aspects about a shoe are just as important for how it's going to perform for freestyle. So how did the Adidas X 15.1 actually perform for freestyle? Confession time, this is my first pair of Adidas shoes I've ever worn. Ever. And I've been pleasantly surprised across all fronts. Now, blocks is something that I've actually found these shoes to be really good for. I think generally a lot of freestylers will just associate the Puma shoes, albeit because of their shape or whatever, to be like the best shoes for blocks. But I think we have to give credit for like the synthetic material of these types of futsal shoes. I think they actually work for blocks really well, and like I've said, the texture of these is super grippy, and for sort of slap and block type moves I've had no issues at all. Even intricate ones where, as I'll demonstrate here, moving the ball around the ankle, around the back, that's always been sort of like a tricky one for me. But with these, I feel like you can do it that bit faster. Just the sort of array of different materials on the shoe seem to work really nicely for blocks. However, by now I should probably just make it clear, the grip of your shoes is one thing, the grip of your match ball is another thing, so, you know, results may vary and all that. Now, sits is an interesting one because I'd gotten so used to using like the Puma shoes, that kind of style of shoe was a really nice kind of cushiony touch. And then when you come back to this, I'll call it like a futsal shoe for simplicity. The futsal shoes is very different. It's still very much doable, very much controlled, and you can be very sharp about your sits, but it just feels different and it kind of meddles with your style a bit. Not that I have any sit style anyway, mine are absolutely atrocious and is an absolute horror show. So it's just a matter of kind of recalibrating that touch. But unsurprisingly, the best thing about these shoes is the lowers. I'm really loving the super grippy texture on the front. I feel like, I really hope that lasts. I hope that that doesn't like wear away over time or anything. Just all types of tricks, whether it be no touches, you know, inside revolutions, outside revolutions, you know, tricks which you need to generate big height. Everything is really, really nice. It's really grippy, it's really like responsive to the point of contact with the ball, and that just really helps you maintain long combos. And I know I shouldn't be saying like a good mechanic never blames his tools or whatever the expression is, but it's just nice for that peace of mind to be able to go into a trick and just have a little bit more faith about yourself that the shoes will do their job and it won't slip, and you will kind of be able just to keep the combo going. It's just like a little mental twig, I guess. Couldn't obviously try all the types of tricks I wanted to when you're doing live performances, but when I got home and like gave these a really thorough lowers session and testing, I've absolutely loved them. In terms of lowers, the thing that I've actually been most surprised about is no touches. No touches have been blissful in these shoes, absolutely blissful. The pop-up that you get on them is just absolutely... So many adjectives running through my head and I couldn't even pick one. Yeah, they're great. It kind of feels like you only have to put in half the amount of power and exert half the amount of energy in comparison to like the Puma shoes, and it'll pop up just as nicely. And it's just little things like that that make me like really enjoy and want to carry on training them. One of the things which we always say really can let a freestyle shoe down is a lack of durability. For the amount of time that I've been using these shoes, in comparison to like the Elasticos, the bottom of these shoes have shown like no signs of wearing down yet. And I have used these quite a lot. Was doing crazy long hours at the Adidas events, and when I got home afterwards, I have been using them on like concrete and everything. They've held up really well. Now I can't do a shoe review and fail to mention the price. These are obviously very new. They set you back somewhere in the region of about £65. Something really important that I should state is if you are planning on getting yourself a pair of these, it is very, very likely that you will have to go up a size, maybe even 2 sizes. On another random note, if you're a freestyler who actually cares about keeping your freestyle shoes clean and in a good condition, then these are actually a very good shoe for that. In comparison to some of the other materials on other freestyle shoes, like the Puma ones and stuff with the mesh material, you can't clean that, it's just a nightmare. Whereas with this, very easy to clean, and for my standards, I've kept these in a really, really good condition actually. So overall, would I recommend these shoes? That's a tough one actually, because it depends on your circumstances really. I mean, obviously, like I've said, they're quite expensive for a freestyle shoe. But if you're really serious about your lowers, or you just want to take a punt on like some Adidas shoes for a change or whatever, then I would recommend these shoes. They are very good. So it's shoes up. So overall, in conclusion, for my first ever pair of Adidas footwear, I've been thoroughly impressed, and I honestly feel it can easily rival any of the other shoes in the past which I've used that specialise in lowers. So cheers for watching guys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, comment with your views on the shoes. Hey, it rhymed. And let me know if there's any other shoes that you feel I should try and do a review on. And be sure to subscribe for more. Happy days. Peace.